Welcome once again to this RSP. In the previous video, if you have not watched, please watch it. We discussed the general principles involved in a free radical substitution mechanism. In fact, any free radical mechanism, there are three steps: initiation, propagation, which is the real chain part of the chain reaction, and finally the termination. Now we already know that chlorination is faster than bromination, much faster than bromination. We have rejected iodination, rejected fluorination for different counts, reasons. We will be focusing only on chlorination and bromination, which are the only two methods of halogenating alkenes. Now, since chlorination is fast, slowly and steadily we shall be coming to RSP. Just read out with me. Since chlorination is fast, a large number of products such as mono, di, tri and other polysubstitution products are formed. It's not possible to control at the stage of monochlorination. For example, if you take methane and chlorine, you get a mixture of all monochloro, dichloro, trichloro, tetrachloro methane. It's very difficult to control because it is very fast. Of course, if you take large excess of alkane, then you can get monochloroalkane as the major product. And all others you can't completely eliminate. They will be there, but major product will be this. If you take excess of chlorine, then the major product will be this. But this will be also there in small quantities. Now what we learned, if a process is fast, it is difficult to control. But on the contrary, bromination is slow. It forms smaller number of substitution products. With excess alkane, it produces almost 100% mono-bromo product. Methane plus bromine will give you methyl bromide and HBr. Not like this. It's highly uncontrolled reaction because it is very fast. Since it is slow and steady, wins the race, you are getting the monohalogeno or monobromo product. But the question is, if it is methane or ethane, there will be no problem in monobromination or monochlorination. But if it is propane onwards, there are more than one non-equivalent positions where even monohalo product can be more than one. For example, I'll tell you. For example, in propane, I'm just showing you. In propane, supposing you want to monobrominate or monochlorinate, so there are two equivalent positions. These two are equivalent. Here or here, same. That will be N-propyl bromide. Here also N-propyl bromide. But here, this will be a different non-equivalent position. That will give you isopropyl chloride or isopropyl bromide. Both are mono, halo, but they are isomeric. So to study that, we have the RSP principle. What does this principle tell us? It tells us more the reactivity, less is the selectivity and vice versa. Since chlorination is faster, it is less selective. Bromination is much slower, it is much more selective. What does it really mean? Let us try to understand. Have a look. Due to stability difference between the three types of alkyl free radicals, namely 3 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree methane. The reactivity at these carbon atoms, I am talking of different carbon atoms, by a primary free radical lies in the same order. This is a 3 degree carbon. You know what is a 3 degree carbon? Carbon bonded with only one hydrogen. So, a primary free radical like a halogen radical or atom will prefer to attack faster to this 3 degree position and abstract H dot to produce HX and produce much highly stable tertiary butyl free radical, a tertiary free radical, a 3 degree free radical. And this is 2 degree, and there is a competition between 1 degree and 2 degree, and 2 degree will be preferred because the abstraction of hydrogen atom from here will produce isopropyl free radical, which is more stable than N-propyl. That is why there is always a particular reactivity order, 3 degree, greater than 2 degree, greater than 1 degree. No doubt about it. Whether it is chlorination or bromination, the radical will prefer to attack. If it finds a 3 degree, 3 degree. If it doesn't, then it will look for 2 degree. If it doesn't, then it will be content with 1 degree. So this order is valid for both chlorination and bromination. But quantitatively, the ratios are different. These relative reactivity factors, to what extent, if primary carbon is taken as standard, how many times faster a bromine radical attacks at 2 degree and how many times faster it attacks to 3 degree. Similarly, chlorine radical. So for chlorination and bromination, this ratio of reactivity between 3 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree, they are not same because their reactivities are different, so their selectivities will be also different. I'll tell you precisely what I want to explain, what I mean. Now, these relative reactivity factors have been experimentally determined from the percent yield of the products. How much product of this type, this isomer is formed, isopropyl bromide, and how much N-propyl bromide, how much N-propyl chloride and how much isopropyl chloride, the actual percentage yield in the reaction, as well as the statistical or probability factor. Because the number of hydrogen atoms of a particular type, the number of hydrogen atoms having bonded to identical type of carbon atoms, it is called equivalent carbon atoms, gives the statistical factor. For example, in isobutane in 1, the statistical factor for attacking 1 degree carbon is 9 because these 3 methyl groups are equivalent. They are equivalent carbon atoms. Here is methyl, methyl, methyl bonded to carbon. So the statistical factor is 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9. So we have to take both into account the reactivity per hydrogen atom at different types of carbons, 2 degree, 3 degree, 1 degree, and the number of hydrogen atoms of a particular type. That is the statistical factor. Just hold on. The number of hydrogen atoms will be how many number of hydrogen atoms are there for a particular type of equivalent carbon atoms. Hence, the statistical factor for this 1 degree carbon is 9 here. Since chlorination is fast, it is less selective. It cannot discriminate between 3 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree type of carbon atoms so well. Just I am giving you a approximate analogy. Supposing you are very fast. You are running very fast. You are supposing doing some work very fast. Your dad has given you some task to do while you are going to the market to buy something from here, something from there, and some medicine from the medicine shop. So, but you are going fast, so you cannot be selective. You will be missing things. Your selectivity, how much you buy, how much stay at a particular point, a particular place will be very less selective. What does it mean? It means that, see, for chlorination, the reactivity ratio between 3-degree carbon, 2-degree carbon and 1-degree carbon is as low as 5.2 is to 3.9 is to 1. That means a 3-degree carbon is only 5.2 times faster. I mean, a radical will react at a 3-degree carbon like this. 5.2 times faster than a 1-degree carbon. So, per hydrogen atom, the statistical factor has to be multiplied. So, this is the ratio. But look to bromination. The same ratio is 1640 as compared to 5.2. It is 82 as compared to 3.9. Now, since bromination is slow, when you are doing slowly, then you can say, supposing I'll ask you, this is a better analogy. I'm asking you to go to these three friends. One is called 3-degree, the other one is called 2-degree, or the other one is called 1-degree. I know 3-degree is better boy, 2-degree is less, then 1-degree is the worst among them. I know. But I have asked you to tell me what is the goodness ratio. If 1-degree is 1, then tell me how many times 2-degree is better and 3-degree is best. You have to tell me the quantitative ratio. Because you are going fast, in a scooty you are going, you don't have time to spend time and to talk, chat with those guys. And therefore, when you come back so fast to me and report, sir, you'll say, oh, 3-degree, no doubt, it will react faster, but only 5.2 times faster than 1-degree. And 2-degree will react 3.9 times faster than 1-degree. Because you are fast, you are unable to discriminate between these three types of carbon atoms so very well. But on the other hand, I will ask another friend of yours who doesn't ride scooty. She or he will be bicycling slowly and meet the same three persons. Because she or he is going slow, can spend more time with 3-degree, 2-degree, 1-degree and see how the difference between them. And she will report, no sir, 3-degree is 1640 times better than 1-degree and 2-degree is 82 times better than 1-degree. Why this ratio is so different? It is because the reaction is slow. It is going in a bicycle, but the other guy was going in a scooty, going fast. So the principle says, RSP principle says, more the reactivity, less is the selectivity. This has been experimentally determined. It's not that somebody has told you. The percentage yield of the products and the statistical factor that taking into account, this ratio has been found out on per hydrogen atom basis, per one hydrogen atom basis. But if the number of hydrogen atoms of a particular type is more, then that statistical factor is to be multiplied. Now let me show you examples. Supposing you are carrying out monochlorination. Let us restrict to mono, using excess of the alkane, large excess of alkane, you can produce monochlorination. Still, You can't rule out poly. And we will restrict our discussion on monochlorination. Which one is major, which one is minor, and what is the percentage yield. You have to calculate. And see, propane has two types of carbon atoms. I mean, two non-equivalent. These two positions are same. They are equivalent. They will produce one product, that is N-propyl chloride. And this is another non-equivalent position that will produce isopropyl chloride. And as expected, the 2 degree is more reactive than 1 degree. So it is 56.5% 2 degree isopropyl in and in comparison, the 1 degree product, that is N-propyl chloride, is 43.5%. But how could we calculate this percentage from this ratio? Let us take this ratio. Now there are 3 plus 3, 6 hydrogens of particular type. So this 1 degree carbon, the probability factor, the statistical factor is 6 because the two are equivalent carbon atoms. So you multiply 6 into 1, and the 2 degree carbon has 2 hydrogen atoms. So statistical factor is 2. 2 into, for 1 hydrogen it is 3.9. So 3.9 into 2 and 1 into 6. So if you multiply and then convert into percentage, 7.8 divided by the total 13.8 into 100, you will find 56.5% is 2 degree chloride, that is isopropyl chloride, and remaining 43.5% is the 1 degree halide, 1 degree chloride. But coming to bromination, this scenario will completely change. You know, look to the proverb that you have been told by your teachers in the lower class, and your parents also. Slow and steady wins the race. Look what happened to chlorination. It is not only uncontrollable to giving poly, di, tri, tetra, but also even mono also, you are getting the two products in quite appreciable yield. The minor product will not sigh away and go back to his village saying that I am a non-entity. No. This will say, I am no less than you. You are only few percentage ahead of me. But I am 43.5. You can't underestimate me. You can't overlook me. But look to what happens to chlorination. One product is totally almost eliminated. Why? Because when there is a competition, it will be 2 into the statistical factor is 2, but per hydrogen basis in bromination for 2 degree it is 82. So 2 into 82 and 6 into 1, because the standard for comparison is 1 degree. So it is taken as 1, and the statistical factor is 3 plus 3, 6. And this is 164 by 6. And if you convert to percentage, 164 by the total, 170 into 100, it is 96.5% of the major product, isopropyl bromide, and almost negligible amount of N-propyl bromide. So tell me, which is better? Yes, you have to sacrifice, it is low, you have to wait for some time, but you get almost pure isopropyl bromide. The major product is obtained in exclusive abundance. The minor product is almost eliminated. So it is easier to separate also. So the conclusion is, we found that bromination is much more selective, although slow, to form the major product in exclusive abundance, more than 97, 98, 99. We'll see, we'll calculate. While chlorination is much less selective, since it is fast, and forms both the products, minor and major, in appreciable quantities. However, in this case, 2 degree still is the major product. as expected of the reactivity per hydrogen basis, it is major product. But we will take up an example which is an exceptional, interesting example where the statistical factor will make a topsy-turvy. We will change the scenario in favor of 1 degree chloride. Look to this example. Sometimes the statistical factor reverses the overall percentage yield, but such cases are extremely rare. The only example that will interest you will be isobutane. The chlorination of isobutane. Only chlorination of isobutane. Let us study them. This is isobutane or 2-methyl propane. You are chlorinating it, monochlorinating, right? Now these three methyl groups are equivalent. This, this. They are equivalent. So the statistical factor is 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9. From wherever hydrogen will go, the product will be same, isobutyl chloride, here also isobutyl chloride. So the statistical factor 9 into 1, 9 into 1 and 1, 3 degree, hydrogen is only 1, statistical factor is 1 into 5.2. So if you calculate, add these two and divide 5.2 by 14.2 into 100, it is 36.6 in favor of 3 degree chloride. Can you believe? Can you believe? On one hand, we are saying 3 degree greater than 2 degree greater than 1 degree. But here, 3 degree is absolute minority. It's not negligible, 36%, but minority. And this 1 degree, 1 degree is the majority, 64%. We have calculated, I have just rounded off, 64% against 36%. This is the only exceptional example that you'll find in isobutane monochlorination. Instead of taught butyl chloride being the measure, it will be isobutyl chloride the measure product. And how it happened? It happened only because of the statistical factor 9, and most importantly, chlorination is less selective, and per hydrogen basis, even 3 degree is only 5.2 times faster than 1 degree. So the cumulative effect 9 for the statistical factor for 1 degree, and the reactivity factor for 3 degrees only 5.2. That made the 1 degree halide hero. This is the 1 degree halide being the hero and 3 degree halide being the zero, which never is the case with any other example. You won't find such an example anywhere. If you just do the same thing for bromination, you will exactly calculate, because 3 degree into the the reactivity factor is 1640 into 1 and same 9 into 1. So in this case, if you add and take the percentage, 99.5% will be tert butyl bromide and almost negligible isobutyl bromide. Just the opposite is in the case of chlorination. Opposite in the sense of percentage, but this is appreciable. 36% is not like 0.5%. It is stress. That is why bromination is very important for alkane halogenation or even allylic halogenation, because that will give you only one product almost exclusively, because it is highly selective, and the reactivity ratio will be much greater for 2 degree compared to 1 degree. 3 degree is much greater compared to 2 degree and 1 degree. Now, I have given you one more example to find out the different products, monochloro and monobromo products, and their relative percentage. I have given you the hints. I have not given you the answers. You will find yourself. This is isopentane or 2-methyl butane. 2-methyl butane has 4 non-equivalent position. These two are equivalent positions. This is another non-equivalent position, 3 degree carbon. These two are in 1 degree. This is 2 degree, and this is 1 degree, but this is not the same as these two. These two are connected to CH, but this is connected to CH2. So, although it is 1 degree, it is non-equivalent. Therefore, you have to calculate separately. So, I'll tell you 1A. These two will be represented by A, and this 1 degree will be represented by B. So, 1A is to 3 degree, is to 2 degree, is to 1B is equal to, in 1A type there are 6. Statistical factor is 6 into 1 is to 1 into 5.2 because it is chlorination, and this will be 2 into 3.9, and this will be again 3 into 1, right? Because there will be 4 products and you have to calculate separately the percentage. Then you have to find out the percentage. Add all this, then 6 by that into 100, then this by total into 100, this by total into 100, and then subtract the sum from 100. You will get the remaining percentage will be this, what we call 1-chloro-3-methyl butane. Similarly, bromination percentage will be completely different. It will be 6 into 1, and it will be 1640 into 1, and this will be 2 into 82, this will be again 3 into 1. You find the percentages and also write the products, all the products. Chlorine here or here, say chlorine here again, another chlorine here again, chlorine here again, 4 products. Similarly, bromine here or here, then here, then here, then here, 4 products and their relative percentage. Now, for the sake of your convenience, I have given some examples, specific examples which will give you more confidence in writing mechanism of these free radical processes. Chlorination of methane, same. See, chlorine, a first initiation step forming chlorine radical by homolytic cleavage, all fish hook arrow marks. Then propagation has 2 substeps. Methane reacts with chlorine radical to form methyl radical and HCl. Then methyl radical picks up another molecular chlorine to produce the product and chlorine radical. Then termination, methyl to give you this exotic ethane. Surprisingly, we get ethane, and methyl chloride, chlorine, methyl and chlorine give you methyl chloride, and that is already there. It's not visible, invisible. Chlorine, it is already there. So these two are invisible products in the termination, but this is a very funny product produced in the termination, and these are in trace quantity. Similarly, ethane, bromination of ethane, bromine produces bromine free radical. In the propagation, it produces ethyl radical and SBr. Ethyl radical reacts with another bromine molecule, dibromine, to produce ethyl bromide and bromine radical. And this cyclic process goes on and on and on till termination stops the process of propagation. Then the combination, ethyl will combine to form butane. Exotic butane will be produced in trace quantity in the substitution of ethane, substitution of ethane by bromine, right? Then ethyl bromine will produce the same invisible thing. It is already there in the product in the propagation state. So this is addition, trace quantity. Then bromine giving you bromine molecule. It is already there as a reactant. Then this is disproportionation. This is disproportionation. Two ethyl radical, they react in a manner that a hydrogen atom is abstracted by one radical, making it alkane, and this unpaired electron and this unpaired electron, I have deliberately avoided writing many more or drawing many more fish hook arrows. While you grow up, you will learn that many more arrow marks, they make the diagram clumsy. So one arrow mark means this will definitely come. I will not show you this again. It is understood that when this what has happened? When this H dot hydrogen atom comes here, it will join with another dot to form a bond. Similarly, when this bond breaks homoelectrically, one piece of arrow is already there. There is no need to show this. It will be making the diagram clumsy. So I will be henceforth avoiding as much as possible. But you can understand that this electron comes here, joins with this, form a pi bond. So ethene and ethane are the products of disproportionation between two ethyl radicals. Then another example, bromination of isobutane. Since bromination is highly selective, I have not shown the other minor product, I mean extinct product. Extinct product, I am not showing that. In the mechanism also I am avoiding. Now, same bromine molecule breaks down to form bromine radical, then bromine radical, abstracts a hydrogen from the 3-degree carbon, which is most reactive, to produce a 3-degree stable tertiary butyl free radical. Not this one. That is a very, very less stable 1-degree radical. This is 3-degree radical. Then the 3-degree radical picks up, abstracts a bromine atom from a neutral bromine molecule. I mean from a bromine molecule because everything is neutral here. No charge. It's not any charge species is not involved in free radical mechanism. Now it abstracts a bromine atom and becomes the product dot butyl bromide, more than 99%. And this bromine dot radical will again go for this substrate 1 and enter into the same cycle again and again. Then at the end, the different radicals will combine. Dot butyl combines with another dot butyl to give you a huge compound. I call it an exotic impurity. An exotic impurity 2,2,3,3 tetramethyl butane coming as a impurity in the bromination of isobutane, that is explained by free radical mechanism only. And it really, scientists have found out trace quantity of this compound. And again dot butyl bromine to give you the same invisible product. And dot butyl and another dot butyl will go for disproportionation. One hydrogen atom will be abstracted, making it an alkane, once again isobutane. It is invisible. But this one is a visible trace impurity. This dot and this dot will combine to form a pi bond. This is isobutene or 2-methyl propene. Is an exotic trace impurity once again. Then let us talk something about allylic bromination. Now what is allylic position is like this. I am showing you, say this is CH2 double bond CH, then CH2. For example, I am not able to see. Okay, I am doing it here. CH2 double bond CH, CH2 supposing R. So this position is the allylic position. So the allylic carbon is sp3. This is sp2, sp2, but this is sp3. The carbon next to a pi bond, I mean a double bond, carbon-carbon double bond, that is the allylic position. And free radical substitution occurs here very easily because allyl free radical is very stable due to resonance. So let me read out. The reagent responsible for allylic bromination is NBS. Allylic chlorination can be done by NCS in a similar type of compound, NCS. NBS is N-bromosuccinimide, so also NCS is N-chlorosuccinimide. NBS always contains some amount of HBr as impurity. And the preparation is such that NBS will invariably contain some HBr impurity, but When the two will react in a carbon tetrachloride solution, it generates bromine, dibromine in a controlled manner, in a small quantity, in a controlled manner, in small amounts, which will carry out the substitution at the allylic position, but does not form addition reaction, does not undertake addition reaction of carbon-carbon double bond. That is the beauty. Otherwise, you could have added bromine and HU. But if you add bromine, it will attack the double bond and you get dibromo addition product. But we don't do that. We want bromine to come in such a slow and steady rate, small amount. It will come as a radical, not as an ion. We shall study in our subsequent mechanism episodes. Electrophilic addition that involves ions. But here bromine radical will be formed and that will never be interested with pi bond. It will be seeking a site, abstracting a hydrogen atom from a site which will produce a stable free radical. Now see, this is NBS, N-bromo, this is succinimide, forget about the structure. And HBr is an impurity, always present, inevitably present as impurity. Let me write out, this is omnipresent impurity, always. And this reacts, this bromine and this bromine comes out as bromine and this hydrogen is here. So once this bromine comes and you have, then this is the pre-initiation state. Whenever you add these two in carbon tetrachloride solvent, bromine is formed in very small quantity and in a very systematic programmed manner, steady manner. Then if you, sunlight will be irradiated, then this bromine will break down. The same type of thing will happen to produce bromine radical in the initiation state. This is pre-initiation state. Then this bromine radical will smell where is the allylic position. Had there been another allylic position on this part? Yes, there will be more than one product. I have shown only one side. So double bond, the next side is the allylic position. So it will abstract a hydrogen atom and becomes HBr and you get this allyl free radical, and that is a resonance stabilized radical, and I have shown the resonance structures. So when this will come, a double bond will be here and a dot will be here. The other RS, a resonance structure where radical was here. Now in this structure radical will be here, pi bond was here, now the pi bond will be here. These are the two RSS. A resonance stabilized allyl radical will be formed, and it just I have shown the resonance. This is not required. This was not required. This is a copy pasted thing. I would not have done it had I done in my own handwriting. I would have avoided the resonance structure. I have written only R stabilized. What is R? R is resonance stabilized allyl radical, and that in the second substate abstracts a bromine atom from a dibromine to produce the final allyl bromide product. Then a bromine radical is set free to continue the cyclic chain reaction. Then termination of all the types of radicals. Bromine, this is invisible. Then this allyl and bromine, this is invisible. It was already there in the product. Of course, that was the R dash, but here it is missing since it is and that should be there. And these two, very interestingly, these two allyl radical can unite to produce a very big, just looking like a train. It is a diallyl. They will be joining up to form a stable, exotic, as I used to say, impurity. Let us take some example of benzylic halogenation, chlorination, or bromination. Now, toluene, this is the side chain, is sp3, unlike all these are sp2, sp3. Same thing will happen. Chlorine will produce benzyl chloride, excess benzyl chloride, still excess benzo trichloride. But if you restrict it to monochlorination, then you take excess of toluene. Right? Now let us see the mechanism. As usual, initiation stage, formation of chlorine radical. Then it will abstract a hydrogen atom from the benzylic position, and this is the benzylic position. The carbon atom next to, yes, the carbon atom next to the benzene ring, it is called the benzylic position, where substitution occurs. Had there been more carbon atoms, then substitution would have occurred here only, because benzylic free radical is highly stable, again due to resonance. Now, what happens? The chlorine radical abstracts a proton from the benzylic carbon and produce a resonance stabilized benzyl free radical. Here I am not showing the 4 resonance structures. Unlike the copy pasted thing, I have drawn myself, written R stabilized benzyl radical. And then in the second substep, it abstracts a chlorine atom from a dichlorine to produce the product benzyl chloride and chlorine radical. This can be repeatedly, do the same thing to produce dichloro, trichloro, same thing. Repeatedly it can happen, but we are showing monochlorination. And the combination of 2 benzyl radical is energetically unfavorable, because these very bulky groups will not like to, there is not only, delta S is highly negative, but also it is endothermic, so it is highly improbable that such a radical combination between benzyl radicals will occur. So such products I have not shown. NBS can be used for bromination. You can also use here, instead of chlorine HNu, you can take NBS HNu. Same as we found in case of allylic bromination, same thing will happen here. Now I have given you a question here. This is ethyl benzene NBS. Obviously the bromine will be attached here. And this is a double bond is here NBS. So these are the 2 allylic position. There are 2 here also, double bond next carbon, and here also. So there will be 2 products, and this will be measured because it is a 3-degree allyl radical. This will be a 2-degree allyl radical. So both A and B, A will be measured here bromine, and B will be here bromine. Then another way to chlorinate is using sulfuryl chloride. This is a substitute for chlorine. Instead of taking chlorine, you can take SO2Cl2, not SOCl2, SO2Cl2. That can be used as a substitute of chlorine in presence of sunlight or another peroxide initiator, because if you do not have sunlight, it is unable to provide sunlight, then you can take the help of another free radical initiator like a peroxide to give you alkyl chloride, then SO2 plus HCl. Now I have shown you the mechanism. SO2Cl2 in the initiation state will break down to 2 radicals, chlorine radical and SO2Cl dot. There will be homolytic cleavage of 1 sulfur chlorine bond. Then in the propagation state, the chlorine radical will abstract a H dot, because this is neopentane. The example I have given, neopentane, all the 4 methyl groups are equivalent. Anywhere you can substitute, so it will produce neopentyl radical. This is one possibility. The other possibility is this radical, SO2Cl, that also can abstract a H dot to produce, this H dot and Cl dot will produce HCl, and this dot will give you a lone pair, and that will be a free sulfur dioxide, free HCl, and the same neopentyl free radical will be formed by the loss of HCl. I have not shown so many arrow marks because this H dot and this Cl dot will combine, and this dot will come here, and the other dot will join with this dot to produce a lone pair. That's it. Then the second substep will be the neopentyl radical, who will pick up a chlorine atom from sulfuryl chloride, the reactant, and will produce the same SO2Cl radical and the product neopentyl chloride. And this will again go for the same cyclic chain reaction. Then termination between these two neopentyl radical, which is less probable because it's very bulky, but some trace quantity can be formed. And this neopentyl with chlorine, this is invisible. Neopentyl with SO2Cl, this is exotic, just like this. This is exotic SO2Cl. And SO2Cl and Cl will produce the invisible sulfuryl chloride. Now, these are the three self-assessment questions I've given you. Calculate the percentage yield of monochlorination, not bromination, of propane, isobutane, and so the mechanism. I have told you isopropane has two non-equivalent positions, so you get two products, and we have already calculated before 5644. But the mechanism we have not shown. Chlorine giving you chlorine radical, but here there are two possibilities because the two on calculation they are appreciable, so you have to write two such steps. I mean, there will be an additional step in propagation. Propane losing the secondary hydrogen to giving you isopropyl, as well as the 1 degree hydrogen to give you N-propyl radical. So both are formed. I have shown in the same step, but there are two steps. And then both isopropyl will abstract a chlorine atom from dichlorine. So also N-propyl will abstract a chlorine atom from dichlorine to produce a chlorine radical, which will again go for the same cyclic chain reaction to give you two different products, isopropyl major, this is minor, and termination of all types of radicals. 2 isopropyl to combine this 2,3-dimethyl butane, 2 N-propyl to give you hexane, 1 isopropyl with 1 N-propyl to give you 2-methyl pentane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one isopropyl with chlorine, then that will be the invisible. No, that is another exotic trace product, isopropyl chloride, because we didn't have. Yes, that is already a product, invisible isopropyl. I'm sorry, isopropyl. Then N-propyl chlorine, there's invisible N-propyl chloride. This is invisible chlorine. So you can do, because you do of your own. I advise you, don't look at my solution. You draw the mechanism and you will master over it. Similarly, isobutane, I told you the exception where the 1 degree product is major, 64%, and 3 degree product ironically is 36%. Because statistical factor 9, that takes the lead. Same thing. Chlorine radical, then there will be two possible carbon radical. This is major isobutyl and third butyl will be minor. People will laugh at it, but it is the reality. Then they will abstract chlorine atom from chlorine molecule to give you the corresponding products and chlorine radical to continue the cycle. Then termination of all types of radicals will produce these exotic trace products. And as well, these are the 3 exotic trace products. These are the invisible things products. They are already there, and this is also invisible. And the other solution, SAQ2, I told you that ethyl benzene will give you this 1 bromo, 1 phenylethane. Not here, because this is the benzylic position. Similarly, this allylic, there are 2 allylic positions. So this will be major because it will produce 3 degree allyl radical. Maybe cyclopentyl, doesn't matter. This is allylic system, and this is the minor. With this, we conclude the first part of the mechanism. This is the second part of substitution, radical substitution mechanism in alkanes. Similarly, nitration and sulfonation of alkanes in Weber phase are achieved by free radical process, but their mechanisms are not well established. Therefore, we won't discuss about it in greater length. Bye-bye. See you in the next. We'll have another mechanism. This is free radical substitution that happens in alkanes or sp3 hybrid carbon in allylic position in alkenes and in benzylic position in arenes. Bye-bye. How did you like it? Did you appreciate what was happened throughout these two sub episodes, A and B? If, give a thumbs up. Bye bye.